Hi there, it's Mr. Clark. Welcome to lesson CLE.4.1 on modern guitar and bass tablature. So up until now, we've been looking at clefs that indicate specific pitches. We're going to look at something that isn't quite a clef, but I'd say it's clef adjacent in that it deals with a very closely related concept. Tablature is looking to tell a string performer exactly what notes to play by telling them what fret to play on what string. Pitches are still precisely determined, and it's just not quite as easy to see them immediately off the bat. It's placing more importance on finger position rather than the note that is produced. It's giving very similar information, in some cases more detailed information actually. Um, it, and it's just what is prioritizing that has changed. So, if you look at standard notation for guitar, this shows you the open strings, and they all actually sound an octave lower. So you could put an octave symbol on this clef, and you would be probably a little more correct. And the way you notate this in tablature is you'd put a 0 for each open string. So if you give me a moment, I have here a guitar. So the lowest string is on top, as is standard for guitars, which is written E3 and sounds as an E2 at the bottom or below the bass staff. And the 0 means I'm not putting any fingers down on the frets, so it's just an open string. It's not perfectly in tune, but pretty close. So if your standard tuning is used, you don't need to indicate anything else. You just have this tab indicator, 6 lines for 6 strings. And you can show the rhythm with stems above, like right here. The lowest line corresponds to the lowest sounding string, which is actually on top when you play, but if you look down as the player, it looks like it's on the bottom, so it corresponds. I don't know, that's just how it goes. If you're using a different tuning, which I'm not going to worry about tuning my guitar right now, but you can just indicate the tuning there. This is a dadgad tuning, where you would tune the lowest string from an E down to a D. You would tune this string from a B down to an A, and the top string down from an E to a D. I'm not going to bother doing that because it's already not in tune. But because those strings are tuned down by a step each, you would play on the second fret, because each fret is a half step. So that's E, that's F, that's F sharp. So if this were D, which it's not, this would be D sharp, this would be E. So that's why there's the 2 there. You can also use tablature to notate multiple things happening at once. So if you actually played guitar, this is something that you would be able to play. And you have multiple rhythms happening, and it shows you what fingers are on what strings at what time. And all this information is encoded right here, and in a way that's perhaps easier to read. However, I am not yet proficient at guitar, so I'm not going to attempt this for you. In some cases, tablature is actually more specific than standard notation, because this is the same in both measures. Here, it's telling you to play like a standard chromatic scale where you skip up to the next available open string. So E, F, F sharp, G, and then G sharp on the 4th fret going up to A on the next open string. And then this is, oh, we've already gone past the measure. That's fine. Whereas this one is telling you, hey, just keep going up by fret on the lowest E string. And you can keep going up like that. So thus, going from here to here isn't absolute. There's only one way to do that. But going from standard notation to tablature, there are multiple different ways you could notate it. So in this way, tablature is actually more specific than your standard notation. Bass tablature, exactly the same thing. 4 strings tuned to E, A, D, and G, again sounding an octave lower than written, so you could put the 8 there. And 4 strings, so 4 lines for the tab. I don't have a bass with me to demonstrate, but that's the idea there. So that's what I got, and I'll see you next time.